The time is now 7 o'clock.
It's here, Election Day for Busan's education governor. So we are starting off this re-election with the lowest early voter turnout for the seat at 5.87% from the weekend. That's really low. Well, the good thing is the polls are open now and remain open until 8 p.m. tonight. You got to go vote at your designated polling stations. So you may not have a child in school or be in school yourself, but this election does determine the direction of the city's education policies. So if you're eligible, make sure to go out and vote. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Wednesday, the 2nd of April on BEFM, 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you're all doing well. So it is a beautiful Wednesday, and it also happens to be Election Day. The sun is coming in through our window. What does that mean? It means you, especially, well, you who live in Busan, you should be. I'm nudging you to go to the polls to elect the new education governor. And it happens to be a three-way race. What does that mean? Progressive candidate Kim Seok-jun, and then we have the conservative candidates Jung Seung-yoon and Choi Eun-hong. So those are the three candidates. Although education governors or superintendents, they don't necessarily bear a party's name, they do have political leanings. And so this election has been particularly political. We have been seeing lawsuits launched from one camp or candidate to another. And the latest round of banners, have you seen the banners? Have you read some of the messages? They are very much political. This comes on top of the race that focused on political issues from the get-go, including the presidential impeachment. So pundits and voters have criticized this political nature of the campaigns that really didn't focus on education issues. As this is going on, civic groups and the education sector have been urging voters to go to the polls. Their concern is that at the current rate, the final voter turnout, the 최종 투표율, may not even exceed 20% of all eligible voters. In the meantime, parents have a series of requests for the next education governor, ranging from a more comprehensive education environment, career education, career building, and on and on. Most of all, citizens are asking that this education governor finish his term without controversy or incidents, given how we got to this by-election in the first place. The city's education sphere faces major challenges, right? From a declining student population to the rapidly changing environment, and the new leader will have to steer the ship amid these rough waves. All right, so once again, if you are eligible, please remember to go vote today. Text topic time. Are you ready? If you became an employee of the year at your workplace, or maybe you're getting an award for your nth year on the job, 10th year, 15th, 20th, whatever it may be, what would you want to receive as a reward? 자, 내가 만약 직장에서 올해의 사원으로 뽑힌다면 혹은 10년 연속 근속상을 받게 된다. 받고 싶은 부상은? Oh, I want to hear all about what you want to receive. Can I tell you a real story real quick? When I reached the 10th year at my school, 학교에서 이제 10년째 딱 됐을 때요. They called me and said, "Oh, can you stop by the office?" 그래서 잠깐 들리라고 하더라 to the main office. So I went. I think it's called 교무처. So I went there. And then they had, a little, what do you call it? Like an award, like a commemoration certificate. And then there was like an envelope inside. And I was kind of like, I'll be honest, 조금 설렜죠. 봉투가 있더라고요, 안에. I was really excited. And then I went to my office. I walked quickly to my office. And then, I displayed, the certificate. And then I opened it and it was, I'm not being ungrateful. 10만 원 들어있었어요. 네. 10 years of hard service. But, I've been paid for those 10 years, so I'm not complaining. I thought it was going to be a little bit more, but anyhow, because I got excited. 봉투 보고 조금 설렜는데, 네, 10만 원도 감사하죠. Well, you can send in your stories to BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform, search for BEFM 부산영어방송 to find our channel. You can subscribe, and you can log in to chat with our other waivers. Also, on your phone, pound 9050, 샵 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free through KakaoTalk as well. And you can send in your messages, photos as well. The ways you can listen to our program. 90.5, 103.3 FM on the radio if you're in Busan or the vicinity of our area. Also, like I said, we're streaming live right now on YouTube. You can watch again later on as well. We are available on our own app, the BEFM app, which you can download for free. Also, the Patbang app, which you can listen to the 와글와글 segment. Looking ahead to our morning together. So, it is Wednesday. What do we have for you? We have Leon with In the Now. We have Jennifer with Skills 101 for a special interview. We're going to be focusing on something that I didn't even know about. Have you heard about this? Heat may speed up aging. 더위, heat. Oh, is that going to, make us all older quicker? Let's find out with our expert in hour number 2. And I'll be back with today's headlines. It is time for today's headlines. It's now 7:07. Constitutional Court to announce Yoon's impeachment verdict on Friday. The Constitutional Court said it will deliver its ruling on President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment on Friday at 11 a.m. with the verdict to be broadcast live in front of a public audience. Police to ramp up security around Constitutional Court. Police are taking extra security measures ahead of the impeachment ruling on Friday, including banning news conferences, rallies, or one-person protests within a 100-meter radius of the Constitutional Court. By-elections underway across the nation. Polls are open in 23 locations across the country, including in Busan City, and will remain open until 8 p.m., said the National Election Commission, or NEC. Trump's reciprocal tariffs will take effect immediately on Wednesday. The Trump administration's reciprocal tariffs will take effect immediately when they are announced this week, as South Korea and other key U.S. trading partners are bracing for the potential impact of the new levies. Myanmar earthquake death toll expected to exceed 3,000. The official death toll in the Myanmar earthquake stands at 2,719, according to the military government, which projected that the number will likely exceed 3,000. And these are today's headlines. All right, listeners, I have a public service announcement for you. The Ministry of the Interior and Safety and the Korea Forest Service have issued this public service announcement at 6:46 a.m. on April 2nd, 2025 nationwide. Due to the recent high temperatures, dry weather, and strong winds, small sparks are turning into large wildfires. As Cheongmyeong and Hansik, Korean traditional days that celebrate spring and honor ancestors approach, visitors paying respects at grave sites must not handle fire, do not burn agricultural byproducts, trash, and others, and refrain from entering the mountains. If a wildfire occurs due to negligence, you may face up to 3 years of imprisonment or a fine of up to 30 million Korean won. This was a message from the Ministry of the Interior and Safety and the Korea Forest Service. We'll be back with Sue in just a moment. It's time to say hi to Sue for Busan Updates. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. So before we get into our updates, which are very important, I want to ask you about our text topic. So let's imagine. I don't know if you're, have worked at one place for a lengthy period of time. So if you were like Employee of the Year, or if you reached that 10-year mark, like what would you want to receive as a reward besides thank you for your service? Besides that, what would you like to receive?
Without hesitation, I want a ticket to Europe.
Oh.
Yeah, with the a free accommodation, like at a 5-star hotel.
Okay, so you want, hold on. Let's back up. So let's list it. So you want plane ticket. Mm-hmm. You want accommodations meaning hotel. Mm-hmm. Oh.
5-star.
Oh, it has to be 5-star hotel. Not just, any hotel. Mm-hmm. Oh, anything else?
Because I think that, not anything else, because I don't have much of traveling experience before.
Yes.
I've never been to Europe. So, I mean, if I will be chosen, then why not? Just enjoy the luxuries. Yeah.
I was thinking 저 2년 전에 BFM에서 이런 비슷한 상을 받긴 했는데. Oh, what did I get? I don't remember.
Do you remember? No?
I don't remember. No, we're a public radio station, so of course. Okay. We don't want to spend our taxpayer money that way at all. But thank you for sharing a very lofty fantasy La La Land.
That's true.
No, but I love it. That's the whole point of this, right? We're going to jump into our first Busan update. Busan City will provide 100 billion won in support for small and medium-sized enterprises that are affected by the U.S. tariffs, right?
Yes. The city is stepping up to support local businesses affected by high U.S. tariffs.
Yes.
And the city launched Emergency Export Measures 2.0, a plan to help businesses cope with the financial strain. The plan includes 100 billion won, 1천억 won in emergency loans, and each company can receive up to 800 million won. And the plan also includes tax relief for businesses at risk, subsidies for export insurance and logistics costs. About 5,000 small and medium-sized exporters will benefit from these measures.
Yes. So what else is in these measures?
The city is also expanding logistics support to make exporting easier. The city will add logistics centers in the U.S. from 3 to 5 and help businesses participate in overseas trade shows. And the city is also setting up a Tariff Response 119. This is a one-stop consultation center, and there will be professionals to assist businesses in navigating tariff-related challenges.
Yes.
And for businesses at risk of tariff-related losses, the city will extend local tax payment deadlines and temporarily suspend property tax collection, delinquency enforcement, and tax audits. For the auto industry, which is facing the biggest challenges, Busan will provide short-term emergency operating funds and logistics support as well. In the long run, the city plans to invest in research and development for key parts of future vehicles and build a strong base for export-driven growth in the automotive industry.
Right. So I'm sure a lot of the business owners right now, they're really, really stressed out because of the looming tariffs. So hopefully this will provide some support for them. Moving on to our next item, the Busan City has announced the 2025 Comprehensive Job Policy Plan, aiming to create 192,000 jobs this year.
Yes. To achieve this goal, the city will invest 2.1 trillion won, 2조 7천억 won, and work towards increasing the overall employment rate to around around 67% for individuals aged 15 to 64. And the plan also sets specific employment targets, including about 46% employment rate for young people aged 15 to 29, about 60% employment rate for women aged 15 to 64,
Right.
and 940,000 regular employees in the workforce.
So we need the specifics of this plan. Tell us more.
Busan's job plan focuses on four main strategies: boosting the local job market by expanding opportunities in tourism and specialized industries, creating jobs in innovative industries through digital transformation,
Yes.
and fostering industries such as semiconductors, new materials, and future automobiles. Additionally, the city will work on modernizing key industries such as machinery, footwear, textiles, and shipbuilding. And the city will build a foundation for future jobs by attracting high-tech investments and strengthening university business collaboration.
Yes.
And provide tailored job support for youth, women, seniors, and people with disabilities through specialized employment programs.
Ooh, well, what about people who are kind of like midway into their careers, people in their 40s or 50s?
The city will expand the 40 to 50 hiring promotion program and introduce the small business employment transition package to help small business owners adapt to new job opportunities.
Okay.
And more details about Busan's comprehensive job plan can be found on the official city website.
Right, and anytime you're seeking a job, it can be highly stressful as well. So good luck to all the job seekers out there. Next up, let's talk about Sahogu District, which is repairing and then donating abandoned bicycles to low-income families.
Yes, the district has partnered with the social enterprise UBR to officially launch this project in order to both improve the city's appearance and support those in need. And by the way, UBR refers to Ubiquitous Business Revolution.
What is that? Can you explain? Because it sounds like kind of fancy, long words, but what does it mean?
So ubiquitous means 어디에나 있는, so existing everywhere. So I guess the enterprise strives to really create positive social changes by addressing community issues through sustainable business models.
Right. And for those of you who are wondering, it's ubiquitous, which Sue said perfectly, but just to say it slowly, slow it down, ubiquitous. Yes. So what does this mean, though? What are we talking about?
This whole project.
Yes.
So previously abandoned bicycles were removed after a notice period and later they got sold. And now instead of being discarded, these bicycles will be refurbished and given a second life through donations.
Ooh.
And under the agreement, bicycles left unclaimed after the official notice period will be handed over to UBR.
Okay.
And the company will clean and repair them before donating them to low-income households. And in the first quarter of this year alone, 16 bicycles have already been given to new owners. And as Sahogu District representative stated that instead of simply throwing out abandoned bicycles, giving them back to the community is a great way to create and expand the cycle of sharing culture and recycling.
Whoever thought of this is like genius. I love the idea because, if not, it's just going to be scrap metal or whatever. It goes into the waste field out there. So upcycling, love it. All right, last bit of news. The city is providing free suit rentals for young job seekers preparing for interviews.
Yes, the Busan Economic Promotion Agency, 부산경제진흥원, has launched the Dream Closet program.
Yes.
And this service is available to Busan residents and students enrolled or on leave at Busan-based universities aged 15 to 39. And young people from other regions applying for jobs at Busan-based companies can also participate.
Yes.
The rental includes jackets, pants, skirts, shirts, shoes, belts, and ties. And additionally, the program offers professional styling consultations and alteration services to ensure they have a polished look. And each individual can use the service up to 5 times per year.
Sure.
With a 3-night, 4-day rental period. And the suits can be picked up at 6 locations. and interested applicants can sign up through the Busan Job Information Network website.
Right, and as someone who has sat on many panel when we're choosing candidates, I mean that first impression is really important.
Yes.
So I'm glad that this is available for all the job seekers, age from 15 to 39. Thank you for all the updates, Sue. Have a wonderful day. We'll check in with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Now it's time for your traffic and weather. It is now 7:19 on this Wednesday morning. Here's your traffic report. It looks congested on Manduk-daero from the Manduk Tunnel, number 2 to the Manduk intersection. Also, there is traffic detected on the Dongso overpass from Hwangryong ramp to the old Kaegum toll gate. Likewise, also slow going on Baegyang Gwanmunro from Baegyang Tunnel Ogui intersection to the Baegyang Tunnel itself. And lastly, there's a bout of congestion on Bonnyeongno going out of the city right around the Wondong ramp. As for the weather, it is currently 6 degrees on average here in Busan under partially cloudy skies, but here in Santam, it's really sunny right now. It's going to warm up to 15 degrees Celsius during the day. Across the nation, however, clear, but rain is forecast for much of the country starting in the afternoon from Gangwon, spreading to Chungcheong, Jeonbuk, and parts of Gyeongnam. And then there is still a dry weather alert in Busan, the capital area, and other parts of the country. So once again, a reminder to be careful with any sparks, flames, and definitely no fires. This was your traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It is now time for News Digest. Haley is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to work at Jaebong Lee's
I already
company.
asked him. They said they're looking for English speakers. Let's go.
회사에서는 금 10돈 줘요. 20년에는 20돈. For real?
By the way, no, this is, I'm going
Is
to
this
keep
for
my
real?
job here at BFM because that's my morning job, but I'm going to switch my day job because ask me what my company policy is.
What's your policy?
Not BFM, but my other job. They used to give
Okay.
you something like, well, it used to be gold, but then the price of gold is the price of gold.
Yeah.
So that got switched to like a department store gift certificate for 5th year and 10 year. This is my 10th year. That was supposed to be in March. And they're
But it's
not
April.
doing. They're not doing a
not doing it?
company foundation ceremony this year. So there are no gifts being given out.
That's not nice.
I know. I'm like, well, that's So I'm gonna move to Taebong님's company.
Take both of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
We're good to go. All right, we're going to dive into our first bit of news. We finally have a ruling date on President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment, right?
I mean, it's been a long time coming,
Yes.
but we now know the date and the time. The Constitutional Court will announce the verdict at 11 a.m. on April 4th. That is this Friday.
That's right.
And this will be done in front of a live audience with live broadcasting. The sign-ups began yesterday, and definitely it's going to be the event of that day.
Yes.
So just an hour after the registration opened, there were already 34,000 people waiting in virtual line, and there are 20 seats available. So definitely competition is high.
Yes.
So in terms of the specifics on what will happen, based on precedents looking at former President Park Geun-hye and Roh Moo-hyun's impeachment verdict announcements, the court will likely make the final verdict. 최종 평결. This is kind of the formality the night before or the morning of the announcement. So this means the final verdict will be confirmed at this time.
Yes.
That's for security reasons because
Okay.
we don't want the official paperwork being leaked or floating around. The presiding main justice on the case, Justice Chung Hyung-sik, will present his opinion first. Then the other justices will say their opinion. It'll go in the order of reverse seniority. So
Okay.
the newest appointed justices first. Finally, ending with the acting president of the court, Moon Hyung-bae. And then at 11 a.m. on Friday, Justice Moon will read the verdict. So it will take some time for us to hear the actual verdict itself. It's called 주문, the order.
Okay.
But it's customary if it is a unanimous decision, 전원일치 판결, the justice will read the reasons for the verdict first. The rulings on the points of contention, whether the matters were grave enough to impeach the president or not impeach. So the chances are, if the verdict is not announced right away, it may have been a unanimous decision. However, that's, of course, up to the court's discrepancy. They may not do it this way. The ruling, whether it is accepted or overturned, will be put into effect the moment the justice reads that verdict and says, so it is ordered. By the way, again, going back to the former presidents, 노무현 and 박근혜's cases, it took about 20 to 25 minutes for the entirety of the verdict to be read and for the order to come down. So while the announcement will begin at 11 a.m., it might be closer to 11:20, 11:25.
I see.
By the way, if you're counting, this comes 38 days since deliberation started at the court, 111 days after the National Assembly impeached the president.
Indeed. So the entire country is awaiting news on this. That's happening once again on Friday. All right, next up, let's talk about the trade with the U.S. The Trump administration recently released a foreign trade barriers report in which it specifically mentioned what it perceives as barriers from South Korea.
Right, and this is very important because in about 22 hours, we're going to get the reciprocal tariffs announcement from the White House. So this may be a bit of a preview on at least what the U.S. perceives as trade unfairness. And by the way, this was a book. It was at over 300 pages. So this is the 2025 National Trade Estimate Report on Foreign Trade Barriers released by the U.S. Trade Representative, or the USTR, yesterday.
Yes.
So for South Korea, which we're going to focus on, it points to a wide range of issues ranging from investment barriers to electronic commerce, digital trade, even beef. So what's notable? For the first time ever, the report mentioned Seoul's defense offset trade program. This is called 국방 절충교역. What it means is that South Korea has certain conditions if we are signing agreements with foreign defense contractors when they engage in key government policies like fighter jets. So the report says the Korean government has pursued policies that prioritize local technology and products over foreign defense technology. Well, yes. Why wouldn't they? Is kind of the common sense sentiment. And a lot of other countries do this. But pundits are saying that this being mentioned for the first time, it might be Washington saying that they don't see this policy of information or technology transference or 기술 이전 as being fair.
Right.
It also expanded upon the report from last year on energy investment restriction for foreigners. Last year mentioned issues with hydraulic, thermal, and solar energy. This year added nuclear energy onto that list.
Yes. And so the report also contains issues with digital trade barriers, right? So what did it say on this?
Right. So there are a series of bills currently at the National Assembly that would require foreign content providers to pay network usage fees to South Korean internet service providers.
Right.
It said because in South Korea, some of these internet service providers are also content creators or content providers, these fees could benefit a South Korean competitor. So they're seeing this as anti-competitive.
Okay.
Also, it repeated the import ban on American beef from cattle that's aged 30 months or older. So again, this is important because of the timing. It comes 2 days before President Donald Trump is due to announce his new tariffs.
Yes.
So this could be perhaps a preview.
Of what's to come. Well, President Donald Trump, in the meantime, is going to have like a whole event to announce
Right.
these tariffs, right?
Right. So he has dubbed April 2nd as Liberation Day for America. 미국 자유의 혹은 해방의 날. So we don't know what the tariffs will entail. There's a lot of speculation as to will this be kind of a universal tariff, point by point tariff?
Yes.
But we have an idea as to how these will be announced. So on Wednesday, local time, Trump will hold his first Rose Garden press conference with the cabinet at 4 p.m. Rose Garden is, it's this big garden of roses at the White House. This is where a lot of celebrations are taking place. So 4 p.m. local time Wednesday in Washington is 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we will have that full report available for you tomorrow.
Ah, yes, indeed. So thank you for going over kind of the preview of what we might expect. So up next, we are in recovery mode from the wildfires. But for people who are out of their homes, maybe displaced, there is a new challenge.
Right. So it's been pointed out that given the region of the fires, Gyeongbuk and Gyeongnam, it hit the areas where the bulk of the population is senior citizens. So that's presenting new challenges as to how they handle the aftermath of the fire. First, actually, let's talk about the issues during the fire. We got multiple disaster alerts, and the primary form of communication for evacuation sites is your smartphone. But if we are talking about senior citizens, that presents difficulties.
Yes.
So, number one, they're not familiar with how to use their smartphone. Number two, even the font, although they will have the bigger font options available, that's still quite small because the smartphone has limitations on the screen size.
Yes.
So experts say that in places like the U.S. and Canada where there's a more systemized evacuation plan, there are kind of grouped in together by villages or even smaller units, and kind of the equivalence of Korean 이장님, the village leaders and community leaders will check in on them.
Right. So great points that you bring up. And there are also challenges with those who've been displaced or in these emergency evacuation centers.
Right. So what about seniors who had to be evacuated from nursing homes that have mobility problems or disabilities?
Right.
So currently there are, if you look at any one such evacuation site, dozens of seniors who cannot move on their own. So they need to be flipped every often to prevent bed sores.
Yes.
욕탕. And then there's barely any privacy when they're getting their bedpans or diapers changed because, and not to blame, there's a severe staff shortage.
Yes,
so
yes.
you can't, they have to have the seniors, the patients in kind of a congregated area so the caretakers can tend to them at a more efficient level. So Gyeongbuk Provincial Governor Lee Cheol-woo also said when he visited one of these sites, the scene is hard to watch and called for the seniors to be moved to better equipped facilities.
Indeed.
Even for those who can get around, there's a shortage of medication for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, etc. There is a temporary exemption for duplicate prescriptions, meaning if you had like a 6-month-long prescription for your diabetes medicine, but you're a month 4, normally they can't reissue you a new prescription, but they are allowing this. But still, that involves them getting to the doctor.
I see.
And how are they going to do this at this point is also an issue.
Right.
And even something as simple as going to the bathroom. Because, for example, the Yeongdeok Culture Center, where a lot of these seniors are housed, the nearest bathroom is 500 meters away, or the shower is 500 meters away.
Right.
That is a long distance if you're on a walker.
Yes, yes.
So some residents say that while there are local governments that encourage seniors to kind of come enjoy the rural country life, we do have to look at all of these aspects.
Indeed. So it's not just about, yes, they are safe from the wildfires
Right.
or in a sheltered place. However, so many difficulties.
Quality
right?
of life,
Yes.
welfare, yes.
Just the humane side as well. We're going to move on for now, though. As I said in the opening, today is that day, Election Day here in Busan for education governors. So what are things that we can do and cannot do? So we want to remind the listeners out there.
Right. The polls are open now until 8 p.m. tonight.
Right.
You do have to go to your designated polling station, bring ID, government-issued ID, hard copy, or if you have the mobile IDs, driver's license or resident registration,
Sure.
that's fine. In terms of taking your photos, yes, you can take pictures outside the polling station. 투표소, outside the 투표소. You can do any of the hand gestures, thumbs up, the V, the peace sign, or other numbers. Taking pictures of the poster or election material outside, again, the polling station, everything's fine. Yes, you can stamp your hand, as you
Okay.
can see that I have done with mine. It's smeared, but I went and voted. And you can post them on social media. But once you cross that threshold to the door, once you're inside the building, no photos allowed.
Okay.
Absolutely no photos of the ballot, nor inside the voting
is serious.
booth. That's something that can get you subject to under 2 years in prison or up to 400 million won in 4 million won in fines. 400만 원.
So that's quite stiff.
That's a stiff penalty. So
Don't do it.
just put your phone away once you're
Inside.
across that door.
Yes. Thanks for giving us the heads up on that. And we'll check in with you in hour number 2.
See you in a bit.
Thank you, Haley. Back to you, the listeners out there. If you became Employee of the Year at your workplace, or maybe you get an award for whether it's the 10th year, 20th year, whatever it is, what would you want to receive as a reward? And I'm going to read a couple messages. First up, I haven't heard from Mr. 한상엽님 in a while. 너무 반갑네요. 저는 올해 근속 20주년입니다. 9월 창립 기념을 행사 때 200만 원 받을 예정입니다. That's what he writes, not me. 아주 만족합니다. 대리 만족. 해야 되나요? 너무 부럽습니다. Hey, I have a funny kind of chat going on. 의찬님 sent in a message saying, 재봉님 다니는 회사가 제가 다니는 회사인 듯. And there were further conversations. Apparently they went like on a business trip to Singapore, I'm assuming. 맞는 것 같아요. So, wow, you met your 직장 친구, 우리 Morning Wave in Busan. 여기 유튜브 챗룸에서 만났네요. 너무 좋아요. I love all these chance meetings. We are definitely a family together. So thank you for those messages. And for now, let's get to Cat's Pick. I will read more of your messages in just a little bit. For today's Cat's Pick, we have been talking about a lot of weather events all around the world. And unfortunately, there have been wildfires here in Korea, terrible earthquake in Myanmar and Thailand. This time I want to focus on the United States, where there have been many tornadoes across several states. And yes, people have died. And here's a clip from NBC News.
Scramble for safety. Students rushed out of classrooms in Alabama as multiple tornadoes swept across at least 7 states and killing 7 people, a number expected to rise. Nearly 70 million Americans still in the storm's path as Mother Nature showed her strength, slamming parts of the South and Midwest this weekend.
All of a sudden, just the wind gushed all at once and you saw leaves and debris all flying and then your visibility was gone.
There's another one. Look, there's another funnel.
The strongest tornado reaching gusts of 120 miles per hour in Louisiana as freezing rains turned deadly in Michigan, where 3 children aged 2, 4, and 11 died after a tree fell on their family minivan.
This family had no ability to, predict when a tree was going to fall on their vehicle.
In Indiana, 2 dead from high winds on the roads. The power is out in this neighborhood, and you can hear the hum of the generator. Those 60-mile-per-hour winds knock down trees, crashing into houses and cars. Steve Baker is the president of Indiana Michigan Power.
Biggest challenge right now is to make sure that we get the power restored for customers before the next round of weather hits, and to make sure that we're keeping our customers and the general public safe.
From ice to dangerous floods in the south, water filling the streets of Miami Sunday, drenching fans attending the famous Ultra Music Festival.
Because I've come from London to Ultra and I'm not letting the weather stop me.
As the storm continues to move toward the northeast, more tornadoes are possible, but damaging winds and quarter-sized hail is the main threat as millions brace for round 2, wondering if the worst is yet to come.
I'm guessing there won't be a lot of sleep in some of those places tonight. How are families, people preparing for this next round of storms?
Many are working to secure loose debris and tree limbs like this, really anything that could fly and injure someone when the wind picks up. The homeowner who lives here says it could be days before someone from his insurance insurance company comes out to assess the damage. You see this massive tree fell on his house and car. And with another round of storms on the way, he says the wait could even be longer.
Well, the bad news is this. Aside from all the deaths and devastation, so much property damage, a once-in-a-generation flood event, 홍수도 올 수 있다고 하네요, for this week's slew of just severe weather threats in this area. So for those who might be affected, who are preparing, of course, our thoughts are with you, and definitely be safe out there. This was Cat's Pick for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for Leon for In the Now. Good morning.
Good morning, Catherine.
Oh, happy spring.
It is spring.
Looking so nice, at least at our window, right?
It was still a little bit chilly.
Yes.
But I feel like the temperatures are going up just a little by little every day.
Yes. I just appreciate the fact that, like, we have the sun out, so we can't complain. But, in other parts of Korea later, there is going to be rain. So I told you that earlier. But anyhow, text topic.
Yes.
Assuming that you, let's say hypothetically, are working at a company, whether it be 10-year, the 15-year mark, 20-year mark, and what kind of reward would you want to receive? And by the way, I think they should give, you collectively, we should give rewards for all the homemakers, all the people that are at home.
Oh,
don't you think?
Of course. That's a major job.
Right.
We should demand it from our husband.
Yes. What would you want to get?
From my husband?
Yeah, let's say. Because, you put in the hard jewelry. Oh.
I don't want to make it sound all nice.
Yeah, jewelry.
Just to be fair, I was almost going to say cash, but 지금 너무 좀 그렇잖아요.
현금은 좀 그런가?
야, 현찰 주세요. 이거 안 되잖아요. 그래서
여보, 현찰.
I would just probably be like, because jewelry I say because, as you can see, I don't put on jewelry on a regular basis.
Right.
So I have this thing for myself, like if I'm going to get something, it's just going to be nice. And I don't really go shopping for jewelry anyway, so I will make it like an occasion.
I see.
Because my friends always tell me 좀 해. Because my dressing style is very casual a lot of the time. 조금만 뭐 하나 딱 포인트 하면 좋은데 나는 막 모르겠어 귀찮아 막 이렇게 하는 거. So I think I would force myself.
I see.
And then make my hubby pay for my expensive jewelry.
Nice. I like.
Yes.
Good choice. Well, diving into what you have brought for us today, I'm so curious because you bring us the trendiest, cool, hip stuff. So.
Yes, and this is so in trend. Actually, was at the station yesterday, and another producer said, 그거 트렌드 가고 있다고. 그만큼 너무 핫했기 때문에 지금 a lot of people have been jumping on the trend and it's almost fading. But it's only been 3 days since this
a 3-day trend.
For a 3-day trend. But have you seen? So it's a very famous generative AI that we all talk about. ChatGPT.
Yes.
And they have released this new function where you can send it your photos, your real life photos.
Yes.
And ask it to make it into a Ghibli style picture or a Van Gogh style picture.
Nice.
Or a vintage style photo.
Right.
Put in or a Lego or Simpson. These are all really popular.
Everywhere.
These
the
are
studio
everywhere.
Ghibli everywhere.
Is it Ghibli? Have you tried it? Yourself?
I haven't yet.
You haven't?
I want to. I haven't yet. I have a full day, so I'm like, okay, 해야지. And then I fall asleep. 해야지. And then I fall asleep. So
you're not trendy.
너무 피곤해요. My days are so long. Yeah.
If you have a really nice family photo, I really highly recommend.
Okay.
So weekend. I did prepare one for us.
Us meaning who?
For you and me. I took a snapshot of us. And I realized I've done this so many times because I started a paid version for this month, not for this trend, for multiple reasons.
Right.
And so it lets me do a lot. Right now, the limit is, I think, 3 per day or 2 to 3 per day because the system is overloaded.
Yes.
To make it a fun photo, it has to be the dressing style has to be quite different. And lots of colors. And some facial expressions. Because if we're both smiling and we're wearing kind of the same tone, the Ghibli style at least looks a little bland.
So you have something for us?
If our producer can put it up.
Okay.
Is she gonna... So that's what I put. I know it's not the best photo of you and me, but it was something like an animated.
근데 리안 씨는 너무 귀여워요.
아니에요. 표정을
되게 표정이
그냥 웃고 있는 건 좀 그렇잖아요.
그치?
그래서 조금 놀란 표정과.
눈 진짜 동그랗다.
And Catherine just 좀 무난한.
무난한,
그냥 진지한.
like looking at Lian going.
So what are you gonna say?
Yes.
And then the colors was quite cute, like pink
Very
and
bright.
turquoise, right?
Love it.
So this is why I picked this photo, and when it becomes a Ghibli style, is what
that's what it looks. I love it. 이거 킵해야 되겠다. PD님 나중에 주세요.
머리색도 되게
비슷하게.
닮았고.
Right. The haircut.
Right.
The colors, everything.
And the letters on my shirt doesn't say whatever. It seems like aloha or something, but that's not what it says. But it tried. Yes.
It tried to capture the essence.
Yes.
No wonder this is so trendy.
Like. It is trendy.
Yeah.
So that is what we're going to talk about. It's not just the Ghibli style. People are also, can you make it into dreamy animation or watercolor or Pixar style characters?
Yes.
These are all the different demands that people are really punching in to this generative AI. And what's more is that you're not just you get the result, but you can also tweak it after.
After.
So if you don't like what your AI is giving you, you can say, can you make like this person on the right look a little bit more prettier, or
really,
or with like a brighter facial expression, and they actually reflect it, tweak it, and
amazing.
Then give it out again. Or if you can, I've actually tried all this, so that's why I'm so excited to talk about it. I tried the cartoon type and for my kid. And she was like running. It was like a picture of her running and complaining.
Right.
And you can put in a bubble. Like a cartoon saying
like saying something.
So it really captures the moment.
Yes.
엄마 언제 가? 뭐 이런 거. But the thing was, when I was punching in Korean, it gave me boxes.
Boxes.
So I think there's a little bit of error. So I think English works best.
Okay, got it.
When you punch in Korean, it's not working so well. So we all talked about how a lot of people are using this. And you may be wondering, so if it's so trending, does that mean a lot of people are downloading this application and really new users are increasing? And so I've looked at some of the data. And for the daily active users, this is called DAUs, for this ChatGPT thing, reached a record high of about 1.2 million users as of March 27. That's according to Mobile Index of Data Platform company IG Works. And this is the highest number of DAUs in about 2 weeks. And this is after reaching 1 million mark for the first time on March 10th. So it is increasing quite drastically. So until the first of last month, ChatGPT's DAUs were less than 800,000. But with this addition of this image creation feature, the number soared by more than 50% in a month. So definitely,
I
was at a cafe with my friends on Monday, and this Anni was like asking me, "Can you help me get through this? Like, how do you download? How do you make an account?" Because she really wanted to try this image creating function, and she was getting so many errors because, like I said, it's blowing up the system right now. So it was saying like,
so popular.
Can you wait? So she just basically paid for the paid version right on the spot. 기다릴 수가 없다면서.
So, is that maybe like a thing though? Are they doing that on purpose?
I think it might be a strategy.
I don't know.
These media outlets are saying, this is a big plan for the Open AI CEO Sam Altman, who's the creator of this ChatGPT thing. maybe he's aiming this. Maybe
I don't
it's
know.
not as blowing up as it is.
But I hear like he also did it too, right? Sam Altman.
Yes, it's his profile picture apparently, and it's his. Yeah,
Yes.
we can see that's a Ghibli style photo, and that he's super excited.
Yes.
And he did a post on his SNS saying, watching a lot of people generate images with our system has been lots of fun, but he did say our GPUs are melting. So right now, like I said before, the free tier users are currently, they're limited to up to 3 images per day. But my friends have been saying they could only get 2 done. 3 is kind of not.
Is it to kind of push you to
if you
maybe.
want more,
Yeah, you got to pay up.
press this button for a monthly fee.
Is it super expensive? I'm curious.
It's I got the $20 per month plan. $20 per month.
Okay.
And it doesn't say like you could do now this many photos, but it just gives you a lot more data that I can use per
see.
day. And I tried, I think, doing at least like 13 photos yesterday, and it's still let me do it.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
it would say in the middle, we're like facing some systematic error, but if you ask nicely again, can you please do it? I really want to see it.
that's a good tip. Please, at the
제발
police.
부탁해 하면은 또 해주더라고요.
Okay. 제발.
정말 필요해.
제발. Nicely.
So, yes, so nicely. That's always a tip. So, like I said, there's a lot of reasons for the excitement behind this trend. It's not just about, just you get one final outcome from this, but you can tweak it.
Sure.
And we can also talk about Studio Ghibli. Are they happy with all of this?
I'm curious though.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there has to be some copyright issues. And I'm only talking about Studio Ghibli because it is the most viral prompt right now. And
yes.
To talk about if it's actually illegal or legal, it's kind of a gray area as of now. Business Insider explains that legal experts say individuals making fun images for themselves probably won't face any lawsuits.
Sure.
But if businesses start commercializing this Ghibli-style output, making money through them, that's where it gets risky. So we need some clear rules based on this. We didn't get any type of formal statement from Studio Ghibli yet. I checked again this morning, but we didn't get anything yet. And as I was looking into this, I was thinking about what kind of jobs would this new kind of function put at risk, right?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting too.
And the one thing that I thought of at the top of my head was caricature artist. Caricature artist.
Yes.
Right, because that's like that's a very individualistic thing, right?
Like, you see them on
artists,
streets
right,
and stuff.
But if someone were to, have some different styles of this caricature, because they always have their specific style.
Sure.
Put it into this AI, and then you put in your own photo,
point.
and then can you reflect this drawing style on me and why pay for caricature anymore, right? It could possibly be a problem for these caricature artists who just make their earnings specifically off of their style of drawing.
That's a great point that you make.
And do we have time for 2 more?
Just one more.
One more.
Because we have a little gift from somebody.
Okay.
That we have to post of you.
Okay. Just one more that I thought was...
Yes. I don't know if it's a gift, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
사진 작가들.
Photoshop.
Because we can basically Photoshop on our own now.
True.
좀 더 예쁘게 해줄래? 저 머리 좀 길게 해줄래? Or things like that.
Right.
So that was my little insight into the trend.
No, but thank you. Your insight was very, invaluable.
Thank you.
And now we have something that I believe Liu Sang-hyo-님, Dr. Liu?
Oh, the background. I love it.
He changed it. So.
유상우님이 그거 바로 이거를 하셨네요. 좀 체인지 해달라고 하셨나 봐요. 어떻게 디맨드를 넣었는지 모르겠지만.
Right.
Oh, so sweet. I love the flower.
So thank you for bringing this hot trend to our listeners. We'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Lian.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, so let's get to Benny's song request. This is 환생 by Yoon Jong-shin. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
다시 태어난 것 같아요. 내 만난 후로 난 새 사람이 됐어요. 우리 어머니가 제일 놀라요. 우선 아침 일찍 깨어나 그대가 권해줬던 음악들 좀 뭔지 잘 몰라도 난 그 음악이 좋아요. 제목도 외기 힘든 그 노래. 할 때도 안 된 샤워를 하며 그 멜로디를 따라해요. 늘 힘들었던 나의 아침이 이렇게 즐거울 수 있나요? 오 놀라워라 그대 향한 내 마음. 오 새로워라 처음 보는 내 모습. 매일 이렇다면 모진 이 세상도 참 살아갈 만할 거예요. 천철 안에 예쁜 여자들 이제는 쳐다보지 않아요. 몇 정거장 지나면 그댈 만나게 돼요. 차창에 비친 내 얼굴 웃네요. 관심도 없던 꽃가게에서 발길이 멈춰져요.
Your bridge to the world.
스코존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Did you know that an average person in South Korea uses more than 10 kilograms of disposable products a year? While convenient, it does weigh heavily on the environment as they take up to 500 years to break down. Here is how we can cut down on disposable products. First, use tumblers and mugs instead of plastic or paper cups. When you go grocery shopping, bring a reusable bag so you won't have to ask for a plastic one. At home, instead of reaching for single-use paper towels or wet wipes, use rags and towels. These small steps for the environment can have a big impact on planet Earth. This campaign was brought to you by BEFM Busan 영어방송.
김밥가게 박 사장님도 문구점 김 사장님도 우리 부산의 경제를 움직이는 사람들. 우리 동네 작은 가게로 향하는 발걸음이 우리 부산의 경제를 키워가는 한 걸음입니다. 부산 방송광고 발전 협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning.
Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded. What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
It's now time for news highlights. Constitutional Court announced Yoon's impeachment verdict on Friday. The Constitutional Court said it will deliver its ruling on President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment on Friday at 11 a.m., with the verdict to be broadcast live in front of a public audience. The ruling will conclude the 4 months of political turmoil that began with Yoon's declaration of martial law on December 3rd of last year. If the court upholds the impeachment, Yoon will be immediately removed from office. If it rejects the impeachment, he will be immediately reinstated. The presidential office said it will calmly wait for the decision. Police to ramp up security around Constitutional Court. Police are taking extra security measures ahead of the impeachment ruling on Friday, including banning news conferences, rallies, or one-person protests within a 100-meter radius of the Constitutional Court. Roads near the court will be closed on Friday as tens of thousands of people are expected to gather near the court. The police will deploy some 14,000 personnel in Seoul in accordance with the highest Kapo alert under effect. Seoul police are also ramping up security around schools near the Constitutional Court to keep students safe and conducting checks to prevent weapons from entering the area. By-elections underway across the nation. Polls are open in 23 locations across the country, including in Busan City, and will remain open until 8 p.m., said the National Election Commission, or NEC. The elections include the education governor's race in Busan and 5 heads of municipal governments, including the district ward office chief in Gurogu District, Seoul. Voters must present photo identification such as a resident registration card, passport, driver's license, or certificate issued by a government office or public institution in South Korea. Voting is only permitted at designated polling stations based on one's registered address. Polls close at 8 p.m. Trump's reciprocal tariffs will take effect immediately on Wednesday. The Trump administration's reciprocal tariffs will take effect immediately when they are announced this week, the White House said Tuesday, local time, as South Korea and other key U.S. trading partners are bracing for the potential impact of the new levies. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt made the remarks as President Donald Trump plans to announce reciprocal tariffs on Wednesday local time. The new tariffs are to be customized based on trading partners' tariff and non-tariff barriers, as well as other factors including exchange rates. She reiterated that a series of companies have made commitments to investing in the United States, calling April 2nd as one of the most important days in modern American history. Myanmar earthquake death toll expected to exceed 3,000. The official death toll in the Myanmar earthquake stands at 2,719, according to the military government, which projected that the number will likely exceed 3,000. The opposition government in exile called for humanitarian aid to be delivered directly to the victims through credible organizations, saying that international aid organizations have arrived in Mandalay, but other regions are still in need. Global organizations warn that a lack of clean water, shelter, and medical supplies are worsening the crisis. Myanmar's military leaders are still carrying out airstrikes against an armed resistance. This was News Highlights. All right, so it's time for Wago. That means Haley's back.
Hello, hello.
Yes. So I'm going to read just maybe one or two messages right now. We have 최윤정님 who says 10년 근속상 받으면 한 달간 휴가 받고 싶어요. 유급 휴가. 이제 2달 지나고 석 달 된 신입 직원의 바람입니다. So she says basically when she gets to that 10-year mark, she would like to receive a month off. Paid. Okay, that's very important.
Most important.
Paid.
I think that's what 이름님 said too.
And
Correct
I think
me if I'm
also,
wrong.
I think Tommy, if I'm not mistaken, he said something about like 6 months but fully paid.
Oh, 6 months. Ooh.
6 months 좀 기네요.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Where
그냥
is
영원히
your-
가세요.
Where is your
집에 가세요.
양심?
You're fired. Just kidding.
Just kidding. They
Jerry,
can't. Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into our first story. Local council members are under scrutiny for a trip they took in the middle of the wildfires.
Yeah, speaking of,
last week.
one's consciousness. So
Yes.
members of 김해 City Council, so our neighboring city, took a field trip while the southeastern fires were raging on last week. This is an exclusive report from JTBC. So 김해 City Council members visited the funeral of the 4 officers or 3 firefighters and 1 city officer who died during the Sancheong fire. That was earlier in the week. And again, this is while the massive Gyeongnam fires are going. There was even a fire in Kimhae, their own city, that burned through land that was over 130 football fields. Just to say, there was an emergency situation going on. But then 2 days after they visited the funeral, while the fires were going on, they went on a trip. This includes 8 members of the council, and they're from the Social Projects Committee, and 6 employees. They went to Mokpo and Sinan on an overnight trip. But then they must have known that it didn't look good. It's just the visuals, because they made it kind of covert. They went really under the radar. How? Well, usually when you go on such trips, you would meet in front of your workplace. In this case would be the council building or even city hall.
Yes.
But they gathered on a field by the highway. And that's about 1.5 kilometers away from the city hall building.
Okay, so question. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, was it so pressing, like these overnight trips, that it was like so important to their duties that they really had to go.
Because sometimes business needs to get done.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I mean, to be fair, there wasn't really a national mourning period.
Right.
But people were just kind of being more careful, being more prudent
cautious about your actions and words, right?
But then in this case, no. There was no meeting with any local government officials on the other end, 목포, 신안. They basically went on tour courses. They took a little tour. Other similar cases, 7 council members of Jeonju went on a cable car ride on Mount Seorak last week. 10 of Mungyong City Council members also were on their way to Jeju when they heard a local district lawmaker was coming to their area, so they turned the car around. So I know business needs to get done, but that business does not include tour trips. So, yeah.
Right. So, good points made. We're going to move on to our next story. There's this viral video from Myanmar earthquake, the devastation of a man going to great lengths to reach his family.
Right. Not all superheroes wear capes.
Yes.
But this guy kind of did fly almost. So, of course, we're talking about the 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar. The tremors were felt in Thailand, and there has been structural damage reported in multiple buildings.
Yes.
This includes the 50 or so story high-rise building in Bangkok. It's actually a dual building with a sky bridge connecting the two buildings.
Right.
That bridge was cracked, and we're going to put up a visual, I believe, and you can see the damage to that bridge with the green arrow pointing to it, and there was a significant gap. But in the video that's now gone viral, you see like the shadows of a man jumping across that bridge.
Right.
And you might be wondering, is he like a daredevil? Why would you do that?
Right.
Because his family is in the other building.
Oh, gosh.
So the man was working out. The gym was in the left building. His family was staying in the right building. And this man is a Korean national, it turns out. His wife and daughter, they were in the other building.
Okay.
He jumped the bridge. Not only that, walked down 40 flights of stairs to be reunited with his family. And in interviews with the local media, he stated that at that moment, all he could think about was seeing his family again and getting back to them. He was slightly hurt. There were some scratches on his arm. His wife posted a video on social media. He had, or at least has or had a limp. But many people are moved by this action, the Superman of a father, they're calling him.
Yes.
And this is just a bit of a lighter note. After it was made known that he's Korean, a lot of Thai media coverage are calling him like oppa. Because it's like, as it is in the Oxford English Dictionary, oppa's not only your older brother, but kind of anyone who's like handsome or cool is like oppa. So his dad oppa.
Oh, definitely. Definitely an oppa moment.
Right.
Yes. I love stories like this. For our next one, it seems like a lot of South Koreans are going to China as there is a visa waiver, a visa 면제, and they should know about the new smoking rules in Shanghai. Why?
Don't smoke and walk outdoors in Shanghai is the short point. So Shanghai has strengthened its anti-smoking policy by cracking down on secondhand smoking in major tourist destinations. So according to the local outlet or the national outlet CCTV, Shanghai has strengthened smoking crackdowns at 8 major landmarks. They're all popular tourist destinations.
Yes.
So public smoking can result in a fine of up to 20 yuan or 40,000 won, so about 4만 won.
Okay.
So this follows a survey on secondhand smoking amongst the public, some 10,000 people. 60% of respondents said they did not feel comfortable. They did not like smoking while walking. 걸으면서 담배 피기, or they call it wandering smoking, with WANDER as the smoke is just drifting around.
Yes.
90% said that they were disgusted by the smoke coming from cigarettes.
Sure.
And there is a big concern about how this can shape their public image as a major tourist city because more tourists are really coming in.
True.
By the way, that 40,000 won fine is bigger compared to Korea, but not that big compared to other areas. So for one, Hong Kong imposes a fine of 1,500 Hong Kong dollars. That's almost 30만 won. That's almost 300,000 won for smoking in elevators. Then yes, you should be fined.
Yes.
In schools, parks, beaches, and bus stops. Macau bans smoking within 10 meters of bus stops and taxi stands, and a maximum fine also a little under 300,000 won.
Well,
I like these fines.
I was going to say, if you raise those fines here domestically, then people will stop smoking in these areas.
Also,
as well.
littering cigarette butts. That too. Yeah.
We have thoughts on that.
We do.
All right, for our final story, we're going to bring it all the way back to our text topic. A player won man of the match, person of the match in a Norwegian soccer league. And they were gifted something very practical.
As a fan of practical gifts and gifts you can eat, I'm kind of on board. So what did this soccer player receive?
What did he get?
Eggs.
달걀.
Yeah, eggs. So Norwegian club Brian FK, they've come up with kind of a creative approach to award local produce to their man of match.
Okay.
So this is a goalie, Jan de Boer. By the way, they lost a game, but he had some fantastic saves, including a penalty kick. And we know how hard it is to stop a penalty kick
so
in
he
the
must be
second half.
the goalkeeper.
He is the goalkeeper, right. So what did he get by being chosen man of match, MOM? Well, it's not just a carton. It's 4 trays of eggs. So we're talking like over 100. Yeah, you see.
Does he doesn't look too happy because they lost the game, you said.
They did lose the game. I mean, I think if he is married, his wife or whomever is kind of in charge of the domestic, the cooking,
all
or
I
grocery
see
shopping.
are raw ingredients to make my famous eggs. 제가 너무 그 달걀 요리를 좋아하잖아요.
Eggs, yeah,
I
I
was
like it. I really like your eggs too.
Yes.
But this is a nod. They're not just pranking him. It's a nod to the local agriculture because it is dominated by dairy production. Although I know eggs are not dairy.
Eggs are not dairy. We know.
But we know. So supporters of the team, they actually chant, "We are farmers. We are proud of it." That's one of their cheers. There are VIP tickets for fans to watch the game from a pitch side tractor. If I'm sitting on a tractor. So they're really going in with that farmer theme. Which
you
is
know
not a
what?
theme.
Embrace
it's a lifestyle.
it.
I love
Embrace it. I like that.
Embrace it. By the way, the team is rotating rewards. So the next man of match will be given cartons of milk. Yeah.
Ooh.
But if it is like locally, fresh locally produced, I mean, yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I use milk all the time, not just in cooking.
By the way, if you're
shakes and stuff.
stateside, if you're in the U.S. with the price of eggs, that's a good reward.
Have you seen all the memes? It's so funny and all the videos on social media.
Yeah.
They're dealing eggs. Like you would deal something else because eggs are expensive.
Because I mean, they're probably going to be roughly the same amount.
We're going to leave it on that note. Yeah. The Waglwaggler segment. Thank you, Haley.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to check in with her tomorrow. And now I have your updated traffic and weather. It's now time for your traffic and weather. It's congested on the Manduk-daero right now. From Manduk Tunnel number 2 to the Manduk intersection, there's traffic building on Gwangan Bridge, the top portion going towards the Daeyeon overpass. Also, it is looking slow on Gwanmun-daero from Sujang Tunnel to Pier number 5. Likewise, on Gaya-daero from Naenjeong Station to Jure intersection. Also backed up on Byeonglo from the Daeyeon ramp to Gwangan Tunnel. As for the weather, it has warmed up to 8 degrees Celsius. It's going to go up to 15 today. Elsewhere in the country, though, it's clear for now, but rain is forecast in other parts. Starting in the afternoon from Gangwon, spreading to Chungcheong, Jeonbuk, and parts of Gyeongnam. There's also a dry weather alert in Busan and other parts of the country, so you know what to do. Let's be alert and be careful of fires. This was your traffic and weather. And this is Dreams by the Cranberries.
Change
Welcome back, everybody. So I was looking at some of your responses to our text topic, like what would you like to receive as a reward in your nth year on the job? And some of you actually told me about what your company gives you. So, for example, Umberto, I was employee of the month and my company gave me a basket with a lot of company swag and a letter from the vice president of my division. And then he wrote in parentheses, that's it. So apparently not too pleased maybe. We have also Edom waiver. I want to receive a reward like a year's pay leave. 1년인데 paid. Paid is key. I think that's really important because who wants to go on an unpaid leave, right? That's like the most common one. Like whether it's like 6 months, like Tommy says, or like a year, like Edom waiver says as well, that you would prefer to go on leave. You want some vacation time as well. And for me, what would I want aside from my school? I know it's a school, so like I didn't really expect anything. They gave me the little, recognition kind of little thing, and I put it up in my office. I'm perfectly happy with that. It was just kind of like 봉투를 보니까 조금 기대가 됐다는 그 말이지. I am very thankful to my school because my school is probably listening right now. I love working there. It's a great working environment. So let's get to some really interesting facts that you might not have known in regards to heat and aging. Let's get to our special interview. While we're all enjoying the spring weather, summer is creeping up on us. It's getting closer. And with summer comes scorching heat. And recent studies show that high temperatures can make the body age faster, leading to earlier health problems. A study by Dr. Eunyoung Choi at the University of Southern California, USC, found that people living in hot places might make you age faster, similar to effects of smoking or drinking too much alcohol. So this really does raise concerns about how climate change and rising temperatures will affect our health, right? Let's find out more. We have invited the person herself, Dr. Eunyoung Choi, once again from USC's Leonard David School of Gerontology. Let's say hi. Hi, welcome to the program, Dr. Choi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So this, to me, I've never heard of this. I think it's fascinating. This whole idea of heat, hot weather can make you age faster. Because I know we feel uncomfortable, but it really can it really make us age faster?
Yeah. So I want to talk about this a broader motivation for the study. We already know that heat exposure is linked to serious health risks like hospitalization, cardiovascular disease, kidney dysfunction, or even death. But what we don't know fully is what's happening at the biological level in our body before all these serious health issues appear. So we thought that is an important gap in the literature because the physical toll of heat might not be immediately visible, It might not show up right away, but then they could be taking a silent toll at the cellular and the molecular level. So we thought that by focusing on this biological measures of aging, we hope to uncover this hidden impacts of heat on our body, which can serve as an important precursor before they turn into more serious health outcomes.
So what's actually happening inside our body on the molecular or cellular level? Because obviously we can't see it, but I'm sure you've looked into it. So can you explain to us what's happening?
Yeah, so the epigenetic age that we focus on is one way we measure biological aging. And this epigenetic age is based on this DNA methylation, which is a process of chemical modification happening to DNA that change as people age. So DNA, is fixed at birth. We never change our DNA. But DNA methylation acts like a light switch for genes, turning them on and or off and control the gene expression and actually governing how that genetic coding that we are all born with is getting translated into things that are happening in the body. So over time, this environmental stressors like this psychological stress, pollution, or extreme heat in this case can alter these switches. And these changes don't alter the genetic coding itself, but that can affect how genes function, actually eventually influencing aging and disease risk.
Wow, that's fascinating. I mean, yes, once again, DNA doesn't change, but how genes function, you're saying, could be affected by heat. So from what I understand, your research, your study found that people in hot places age about 14 months faster than those in cooler areas. So first of all, is this true and why? Why does this happen?
Yeah, so that's what we found when we compare the area experiencing experiencing more than half of the year of extreme heat compared to the areas with fewer than 10 heat days per year.
Sure.
And what's important about this 14 additional month, well, some people might think that that's just small changes, but this association has actually remained even after accounting for a lot of other individual and community level differences in, home education, physical activity, smoking and alcohol use, all the factors that could otherwise explain differences in aging.
Yes.
So we thought that this effect was greater than expected. And as you mentioned, this 14-month of difference that we found is actually comparable to smoking and heavy alcohol consumption. And in this study, even greater than air pollution, that we starting to know that it's bad for our health.
Even air pollution. So, I mean, normally we think of things like drinking or smoking and air pollution as well. We know, we have this image in our heads like, oh, this is so bad for us. But are there particular people who might be more at risk, given all the factors that we know that you've told us right now, that the temperature can affect our DNA and how the genes function. But are there people who might be more at risk, vulnerable people?
Yeah, first of all, older adults are especially vulnerable to heat because their bodies don't regulate temperature as well. And some also take medication like blood thinner that can make heat exposure even more dangerous. And another thing that I wanted to mention is our study looks at overall local level heat exposure, not the personal level exposure. So it does not capture all the ways people might protect themselves from extreme heat. So for some people who are rich enough to stay in the air-conditioned home, they can get the adverse impacts from heat.
Oh, that's a great point. So this could be also wealth or the economics could play a factor in this. If you say, if you can afford air conditioning around the clock versus those who may not be able to. Well, in terms of climate change, right? It seems like most experts agree that climate change, we have more heat waves due to such. What can governments and communities do to protect older people, as you say, because you said that they're at higher risk to protect them from the effects of extreme heat?
Yeah, I love to answer that question because, extreme heat is becoming more and more common. And also, especially in South Korea, our population is aging very fast, and older adults at the most vulnerable population. And we really need to get smarter about these mitigation strategies. We can't just tell people, hey, pack up and move to somewhere cooler. That's not possible. So that's why we really need to think about the age-appropriate mitigation strategies where they already live in. And we really need a multi-layered solution. Air conditioning that I mentioned is an important tool, of course, but we can't rely on AC alone because it's not enough. Not everyone can afford it. And even if those who do might face, who are rich enough and then run the AC all the time, if they face power outage, when the grid is overwhelmed during the extreme heat events, they lose the access to air conditioning. So we can't just focus on individual solution. We really need to rethink how we design our neighborhoods more heat resilient. Like even simple changes to neighborhood design can make such a big impact, like adding shade to the bus stops so that people can sit down with shade, and extending green spaces so that they can help cool down urban areas while also creating better places where people gather and stay active, you know. And then some of the community programs in the United States are already taking actions, like certain Meals on Wheels programs, now checking in older adults more frequently during extreme heat events. And those simple interventions, like these, particularly for those who are living alone, can be saving. So I would say that as extreme heat becomes more common, we need to be proactive, not reactive about designing environments that keep people, every part of our population safe.
Yes. So, Dr. Choi, when you mentioned things like shade and green spaces, I was thinking also like having the AC on constantly, even if we were able to afford it like all the time, that's like actually environmentally really bad. And then that also parlays into, it's like a vicious cycle, right? We don't want to be emitting all of the AC turning on like 24/7, playing into the environment, climate change, etc. as well. So also, in terms of individuals, ourselves, I love this idea, the neighborhood designs and, checking in on your neighbors, but what can individuals do in their daily lives to really slow this down? Because aging is inevitable, but we don't want to get older quicker because of high temperatures.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously staying indoors during the hottest part of the day, drinking plenty of water, and wearing light, breathable clothing can also be a big help. And especially staying hydrated is important for older adults, because as we getting older, we also lack the ability to recognize that we need more water. So that's I wanted to emphasize, because that's something that we should keep in mind, and then help our parents and older adults to drink more water, especially during the hot days.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for educating us on why heat can speed up aging, and hopefully we can do more in our communities and individually to fight and combat this. Thanks for joining us today, Dr. Choi.
Thank you.
This was Dr. Eunyoung Choi, and we talked about this whole idea, heat. Because when we think about it, we know things like the sun is going to cause wrinkles, and, you're going to get sun exposure. You might get damage. You might get sun cancer. But the heat itself, just high temperatures, according to Dr. Choi, could age us faster. And who is sitting here thinking, I want to get older faster? I don't think any of us would say that. So we need to protect ourselves, as she said, staying hydrated, staying indoors when it's really, really hot, and, wearing a lighter, looser fitting clothing, and making sure the elders in our family and neighborhood do as well. This was our special interview. Let's take a song break. This is 난 괜찮아 by 진주.
겠지만 내게 미안하겠지만 난 괜찮아 나를 동정하지는 마 난 괜찮아 난 괜찮아 그대가 나의 전부일 거란 생각은 마 아무리 약해 보이고 아무리 어려 보여도 난 괜찮아 나는 쓰러지지 않아 난 괜찮아 뒤돌아봐 그대의 사랑 같은 사랑 원하지 않아 아무리 아름다워도 아무리 꿈결 같아도
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
It's time for Skills 101. We have Jennifer here. Are you a little out of breath still?
Oh, yeah, still.
Can we tell the story of what happened? What happened?
Yeah, my car won't start this morning.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's like a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a real total nightmare, disaster. And I, for a minute, I thought about calling a taxi. But then during rush hour, it's not easy to
catch
get
a
one.
cab at this time.
So I started run.
Like
from my
literally.
place. Yeah.
And how long did it take you to run?
Over 20 minutes.
아니 무슨 5분도 아니고 20분 동안 뛰었다고요?
네네. So if you saw, listeners, if you saw someone,
if you saw somebody
running very slowly in this area
from Siang to here
at a speed of snail, that was me.
You got your exercise in today.
Oh yeah, definitely.
오늘은 이제 그만이죠?
For this week.
Done.
Yeah, done. I rarely run.
But today it was like life or death. You were like, I have to get there.
Oh, I felt... yeah, it was totally just a nightmare.
Thanks for sharing. And the fact that like you're so dedicated, like you ran here literally. Also for a text topic, so I'm going to let you catch your breath.
Okay.
So for a text topic, we're talking about like if you were an employee of the year or like the nth year celebration of like 10th year of working at the same place or 20th year, what would you like to receive as your reward? Like some people are saying like a year off paid leave. I don't know if a company would do that, but like some people say like cash, money. Like I think Sang-Yun Weber was saying like show me some show me the money basically is what he's saying, right? So what would you like to receive?
Paid holiday.
Paid holiday.
Yeah, but like really proper holiday.
Like
airplanes, hotels, all inclusive. Yeah,
수님이랑 똑같네요.
Yeah.
She was saying earlier, it was very specific. She wanted like plane ticket, 5-star hotel in Europe.
Luxury.
luxury is 굉장히 중요하군요.
Oh, yeah. Luxury holiday, but not like 3-4 days. More like 3-4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Only that's just my imagination, right?
Of course.
It's okay, isn't
That's
it?
the beauty of our text topic. We can imagine.
Yeah.
Only imagine. We're going to jump into our segment now, Skills 101. So what are we talking about today?
I gave a lecture to expats working for a Korean company last week. And during the lecture, I asked all the participants about challenges they face with their Korean coworkers. And a lot of them mentioned, of course, 빨리빨리.
Yes.
And 눈치.
The 눈치 game. Yes. So is that what we're talking about?
Oh, yes.
Well, okay. What exactly is 눈치? I get this question all the time. 영어로 한 단어로 it's so difficult to translate that one word. There's a lot that goes into the word 눈치. Like it is very Korean, this concept of like roughly, the ability to kind of read the room, right? Read the room meaning like others around you.
Yeah.
그 상황을 파악하는 게 굉장히 중요하다 저는 생각하는데.
네,
눈치가
맞습니다.
있는 사람,
There's no
없는
such
사람.
English word that can replace 눈치.
Right, because it's like in one word,
Yeah,
right? 근데 너무 딱 그 눈치 단어에 너무 많이 담아있지 않아요?
Everything, yeah.
Yes.
So let's do such little things. It's about picking up on social cues.
Yes.
Understanding unspoken dynamics and adjusting your behavior accordingly.
Yes,
And
yes.
much more than that.
Much more. What else?
Yeah, 눈치 is a kind of social awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, but it seems to be much more than that. It plays a huge role in our daily interactions. Something that can make or break relationships in social and professional settings.
Oh, absolutely. Like
Nobody likes people
눈치 없는
like a
사람.
person without 눈치.
And the thing is, I think like most people have at least some bit of 눈치.
Yeah.
And there are a few who just lack it. They don't have.
Yeah.
진짜 없는 사람들 우리 주변에 다 있을 거예요. At least one person,
맞습니다.
right? I hope you're not that person though. Like you
I
listening.
hope I'm not the
Yeah, I hope I'm not.
I'm not the one.
No. I'm sure we're not. Yes.
Yeah, we all know somebody like that. But the thing is, the sad part is, they don't know that they lack 눈치.
왜냐면 눈치가 없으니까 자기가 눈치 없는 거를 모르잖아요.
Yeah, that's the tricky part.
Yes.
People who lack 눈치 often don't even realize it. And they're so happy, so innocent and so happy.
Happy-go-lucky, like nothing bothers them because they just don't know. Everybody else is bothered but them. Right?
Yeah, so today we will explore why 눈치 is important and how we can develop it.
Okay. So I'm very curious. First of all, maybe we can start like a checklist. 우리 웨이버님들도 자기 스스로 조금 생각하시고 아니면 주변에 이런 사람이 있는지 like a common signs that someone might not have 눈치.
저도 한번 해봐야겠습니다.
저도 스스로 해볼게요. 자.
Okay, well, one major sign is talking too much without noticing if others are engaged. So it's almost like monologue. Yeah. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone just keeps going, even though like everyone else looks pretty much checked out?
Yes.
Yeah.
We all know somebody like that. 계속 얘기해요.
네.
Usually about themselves.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then you're like after like the first few sentences, you're like, okay.
Something
and then,
that people are not interested. Like
not interested. That is a sure sign. How about like another one when like people, they miss like subtle emotional cues. I think this is important too. Like emotional cues, like not noticing when someone is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or like wants to change the subject.
That happens.
주제를 바꾸고 싶은데 계속 얘기하는 사람.
Yeah, it's like not noticing that people around them are uncomfortable and wants to like change the subject, but they don't notice it. And in professional settings, a lack of 눈치 can lead to awkward moments, like making a joke in a serious meeting or interrupting at the wrong time.
That's important too. Like, and then like I love all the comments that are coming up right now. Souvenir, 눈치, 아니, 찔리네요. And then 진리님, 찔림 too.
찔림 too.
Some people are like feeling a little guilty.
Well, when I notice myself talking too much, I just remind myself, okay, now it's time to stop.
Like even when I'm like lecturing to students, I try to use my sense. 센스를 써야 되고 눈치도 좀 보는 게, 그러니까 학생들 눈치보다 그런 게 아니라 to read the room. Like when I'm teaching and I kind of see the eyes starting to glaze over, I always say, okay, time to take a break, even though it's not a scheduled break.
Yeah, and when they become very quiet, that's another sign.
And then like, there are certain telltale signs of like, we need to take a little breather.
Yeah.
So I don't just do the 10-minute break. Sometimes it's at like after 30 minutes. Like it's like a warm day. Kids want to be outside. Right after lunch, they're all drowsy, right? So I was like, okay, read the room.
And sometimes it's easy to notice. If you like look around, it's easy to notice that somebody else wants to say something.
Indeed.
Yeah. And these small moments can all add up, affecting how people perceive you over time.
Yes.
On the flip side, those with the strong 눈치 often seem effortlessly charismatic and socially skilled. It's a talent.
Oh, 맞아요.
Nowadays. Yeah.
It is a talent. If you have the 눈치, it's like so easy to be around that person.
Yeah.
Right. Because like let's say you're at a company dinner and like, someone is making like really loud, obnoxious like 아재 jokes, right?
Yeah.
It could be a woman too, by the way. But 아재-esque jokes and like, but you're kind of like, you kind of want to listen to, other people, but they're like going on and on and on. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, so strong 눈치 is a real talent. So for those of you who have 눈치, congratulations.
For others that don't, though, I mean, it's like, is this something that we can kind of grow?
Oh, yeah. I think it takes time. It takes practice.
Long
time. So you have to constantly remind yourself.
Okay, so I do want to ask you, though, so, how can we have better 눈치? Like, how can we improve on it? Because we don't want to have, like, misunderstandings or have it be awkward, whether it's at work or in personal relationships. So what can we do?
Well, first, pay close attention to nonverbal cues.
Okay.
Body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice can tell you a lot more than words alone.
Sure.
So it's nonverbal things, especially the voice part.
Yes.
Yeah, you can really feel that they are truly interested or not. They're pretending.
Yes, right. So that is a good point. Another one is maybe listen more than you speak. Try to.
Skill. Yeah.
Listening is really important because I think the more you observe and listen and pick up on those nonverbal cues, you can contribute, in a more productive way.
Yeah, the thing is, listening skill very important. But most of us feel very uncomfortable with the silence. And some people, they just cannot endure this few seconds of silence and they end up talking
constantly, nonstop. Right.
Yeah. And be mindful of the group's overall mood.
Yes.
Is the atmosphere light and casual or is it more serious and heavy? So adjusting your energy to match the situation can make a big difference.
Indeed. And when you mentioned silence, I feel like why are we so uncomfortable with silence though? 왜 항상 계속 얘기해야 되나요? Is that a necessity? Is it okay to just silently observe and kind of take things in?
Yeah,
or
I think it's also culture thing. We have a more high tendency to fill the gap more than others.
Okay. So is there anything else that we should know when it comes to 눈치?
There is one underrated skill.
Okay.
Which is pause before reacting. So giving yourself a moment to assess the situation can prevent you from saying something out of place. So think before you speak.
Think. Take a pause. How?
Pause.
So people are asking, how can we do it? Give us an example, of how to kind of pause and kind of assess the situation. Is there a way we can do this well?
Yeah. When you think, when you're asked a question and what you think about this issue before
you jump in.
Think your comment may hurt other people, or your comment may be perceived the wrong way. So it's just important. I think it helps to pause just
a little bit, even
just to think.
Okay.
Not really minute of silence, but
that's too long. Then if you do it too long, they'll be like, 왜 무시하지?
Yeah, exactly.
I asked you a question, you're just sitting there, but right, okay, but just a second or two is and then to speak instead of...
and then some people, they don't enjoy sarcastic jokes. So you have to be careful with your jokes as well.
That's true. Some people love sarcasm. I love sarcasm. I am sarcastic. However, now I will be more mindful because other people might feel uncomfortable with sarcasm.
Yeah, exactly. Because they especially in country like Korea, people don't take it so well. 비아냥거리는 거 진짜 싫어하는 사람들
그렇게
있거든요.
들릴 수 있으니까.
네.
So dry wit may not fly.
No.
Depending on who the group you're
also
with.
Depending on your relationship with the person.
That's true.
Right?
That's really important too. Well, thank you so much. I think that we can do much better in terms of observing social cues, reading the room around us. We have a message from Souvenir who says, 저 포함 남편들 룸 컨트롤러 눈치를 잘 봐야 하는데 그게 안 돼서 욕을 잘 먹죠. So he's kind of representing all the husbands out there.
Yeah.
Not all husbands. Some husbands out there who might kind of lack the skills of reading the cues maybe from their wife. Maybe not being able to... Just because she says this, it might mean something else. You got to read a little bit more sometimes. How about this though? If you're not sure, isn't it okay just to ask for clarification? Did you mean this? Do you think that would be annoying? As a wife, probably, but
yes. But I think it's better than not caring at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Just can I get a little bit of clarification rather than just assuming something, right?
Yeah. A friend of mine told me last night.
Yes.
She was so mad at her husband because he enjoys nightlife. He enjoys going out. And then she had told him, she was so angry. And she said to him, 나가서 들어오지 말던지. And then...
설마 안 들어왔어요?
And then he came home like at 3 in the morning.
She said,
yeah.
들어오지 말든지.
들어오지 말든지.
좀 그거는 일부러 못 알아들은
정말
척한 것
눈치.
같은데. 일부러 그랬을 거예요.
Terrible 눈치.
We're going to end it on that note, but thank you. Be safe. Take a little breather.
I will take a walk. I don't have to jog. So.
Walking slowly.
It's a relief.
Yes. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So thanks to Jennifer for running it in today, running into the studio. I do want to remind you one last time because right now we talked about earlier the recent high temperatures plus the dry weather. We have all the strong winds and, anything, a small spark can definitely turn into a larger wildfire. So, the Korean traditional days that celebrate spring and honor ancestors, we call that 청명 and 한시가. Those days are approaching. And when we pay respects at grave sites, we have to be really careful not to create any type of fire. Do not burn agricultural byproducts, trash or other things, and refrain from entering the mountains with any of these types of items. And if a wildfire occurs due to negligence, you may face up to 3 years of imprisonment or a fine of up to 30 million Korean won. So I just wanted to remind you once again, we all need to be careful. All right, let's end it with this one. This is Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars, as requested by Taejin. Wishing everybody a safe and beautiful day. Bye, everybody.
Like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Yeah, I know. When I compliment her, she won't believe me, and it's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? I say. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause girl, you're amazing. Just the way you are. Yeah. Her lips, I could kiss them all day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know, I never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I'll say, when I see your face,